everyone, I'm Cheska.
The name is Gino.
And I'm Therese. So, on this video presentation, we are about to tackle some of the very interesting history topics that we've learned in our readings in Philippine History course. Now, let's get into it. We will start this video by answering a simple question. When you hear the word independence, what comes into your mind? Independence is simply defined as a state of being dependent, meaning you don't depend on others. Thus, you can handle yourself whatever the situation you're facing in. The idea of independence does not apply to people but also in state, nation, or a country wherein they practice sovereignty over their territory. Now, let's get into the Philippine context. As we all know, Philippines has been colonized within over 100 years, being dependent on three big nations. A 333 years rule within the hands of the Spaniards, 48 years within the chains of the Americans, and 3 years with the terror of the Japanese people. Yes, Philippines has overcome all of this colonization that happened in the past. But the question is, did the Philippines really gain independence? Or rather, would you consider the present Philippines as an independent country? I doubt.
Tierra dorada, hija del sol de
On May 1, 1898, over the lead of Admiral George Dewey, the first official attack of the United States in the Philippine territory occurred in the Manila Bay as the American Navy bombarded Spanish Pacific fleets in the first major battle of the Spanish-American War. The battle was won by the Americans. On June 12, 1898, General Emilio Aguinaldo, along with 98 delegates, including himself, has proclaimed the Act of Independence of the Philippine territory from the rule of the Spaniards after the bombard of Spanish Pacific fleets in the Manila Bay, which they suspected as the fall of the Spaniard. The declaration occurred in Cavite el Viejo, which is now known as Kawit Cavite, together with the waving of the Philippine flag, the singing of the national anthem Marcha Filipina Magdalo, now known as the Lupang Hinirang, as a form of showing the act of independence. However, this Declaration of Independence was not recognized by both of the Americans and the Spaniards. On December 10, 1898, in order to end the Spain-United States War, they have come up with an idea of Treaty of Peace, which is famously known as the Treaty of Paris. The treaty states that both nations signed to an agreement of Spain turning over the sovereignty title of Puerto Rico, Guam, Cuba, and the Philippines to the United States' hands. Both Puerto Rico and Guam were ceded to the United States. Cuba then became the United States' protectorate and sold the Philippines for $20 million.
On December 21, 1898, United States President William McKinley has proclaimed the benevolent assimilation and was officially announced in the Philippines on January 4, 1899. This states that the United States have come not as invaders or conquerors, but as friends, to protect the natives in their homes, in their employment, and in their personal and religious rights. The proclamation itself was sent to General Elwell Otis. Otis then sent a version of the proclamation to General Emilio Aguinaldo, which he expurgated by purging the U.S. sovereignty to stress our benevolent purpose and not offend Filipino sensibilities, by substituting free people for supremacy of the United States, and deleting to exercise future domination. Aguinaldo then became the first president of the First Republic of the Philippines, which was proclaimed in the 23rd of January, 1899, and inaugurated at Malolos, Bulacan, together with the promulgation of the Malolos Constitution on January 21, 1899. The republic was popularly known as the Malolos Republic as it was approved by the Malolos Congress on November 29, 1898. The conflict between the Americans and Filipinos suddenly ascended as the First Philippine Republic objected the terms of Treaty of Paris, promoting that this country is not for sale. On the evening of the 4th of January, 1899, the United States sentries, including Private William W. Grayson, fired the first shots of the said war in the streets of Santa Mesa, that killed a total of 4 Filipinos, including a lieutenant and 3 unarmed soldiers. The gunshots fired by Private Grayson then resulted the 1899 Battle of Manila, the first major battle of the Philippine-American War. The battle lasted within 2 days, leaving the death of 4,200 American soldiers and 20,000 Filipino combatants. In addition, over 200,000 Filipino civilians died from the violence and diseases inflicted by the conflict. The victor of this battle was obviously the Americans.
The war continues to rage as the Philippines officially declared war against United States on the 2nd of June 1899. After 3 days of the declaration of war, one of the most finest soldiers of the Philippines, General Antonio Luna, was assassinated by Filipinos themselves. On July 4, 1899, United States themselves has declared their victory over the Philippine-American War. The President of the First Philippine Republic, General Emilio Aguinaldo, has been captured by the Americans on May 23, 1901, which brings Philippine-American War to an end when Aguinaldo officially surrendered to the United States on July 4, 1902. The war's aftermath was a total over 1 million Filipinos casualties. However, some revolutionists involving the Tagalog Republic, which was formed after the capture of Aguinaldo, continues the battle until their last cry at the Battle of Bagsak on June 15, 1913.
On August 29, 1916, the United States has proclaimed the Jones Law, also known as the Philippine Autonomy Act, which contains the official declaration of the United States' government commitment to the Philippines that they will eventually grant independence if they are evidently independent on their territory with the means of having an independent government. In addition, the law created the first fully elected Philippine legislature. Later on, the 24th of March, 1934, the United States has proclaimed a federal law, the Tidings-McDuffie Act, officially the Philippine Independence Act, which states that in order to gain independence, the Philippines must undergo a 10-year transition period of process that pertains on having a Commonwealth government based on the United States, which was led by the first Commonwealth President, Manuel L. Quezon. After the 10-year transition period decided by the Tidings-McDuffie Act, the Commonwealth government was restored in May 28, 1946, which was led by Manuel Rojas, the third and the last president of the Commonwealth of the Philippines.
At last, Philippines is now officially an independent country as Manuel Rojas then became the first president of the independent Third Philippine Republic after gaining the full sovereignty over the United States. Within 100 of years, being colonized by different countries, within tackling all of these topics, let me ask you again, did the Philippines really gain independence? After the Philippines gained its full sovereignty over the United States in 1946, acts of dependency are still practiced in the Philippines, including the government itself. One of the most evident acts of dependency is Marcos' 26.2 billion debt on the World Bank. Despite of Marcos' vicious acts, why would he lend a big amount of money from others if he can handle his own country independently?
According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, as of 2017, the total number of OFWs here continues to rise as it was roughly estimated at 2.3 million. With that being said, why does the overseas Filipino workers continues to rise yearly if there are millions of job opportunities in the Philippines? Why does most of the Filipinos still settle to depend their work to other countries? Does this also neglect the act of being independent in your country? Also, in terms of defense and military, we are still reliant to other countries, especially to the aid of the United States forces, as they have plenty of military bases located in the Philippine territory itself. In present times, acts of being dependent to other countries are still practiced by the Philippine government, as it was also present on the current president, Rodrigo Duterte's Build program. This program aims to build and improve different infrastructures in the Philippines, which includes road renovations and buildings of bridges and buildings.
Funds on some of the projects of the program like the 4 billion Chico River Pump Irrigation Project in Kalinga and Cagayan provinces, and the 18 billion new Centennial Water Source Kaliwa Dam Project in Quezon Province was loaned from China. However, when the building of the said infrastructures was done, 100% of all of its earnings will be claimed by China. If Philippines is now an independent country, why would we still depend on other countries' help in order to improve our own country? The answer is simple, because until now we can't stand alone. We are not truly independent. Now let me ask you this question one last time. Did the Philippines really gain independence, or rather would you consider the present Philippines as an independent country? I doubt.